G'day guys, hope you're all doing well. I've picked up a good couple of records the last few weeks, so I thought I'd take you through what I've picked up. So the first three records, I've picked them up from Thornbury Records, which is a local record store here in Melbourne. The first record we've got here is by a punk rock band, Amel and the Sniffers. They're from Melbourne, and this is their debut album, and this is a limited edition Chrome Angel silver wax vinyl. Happy to pick this up into my collection. Highly recommend checking these out if you're into punk. Next up I've got is the Drive soundtrack in a neon pink vinyl, recent reissue. And next up we've got is Earthless, Black Heaven in black vinyl. Really dig this band, saw them live. This record is by the band The Casanovas, Terra Casanova, Melbourne band. Never heard of them, to be honest. It was given to me by a good friend of mine, Mark. So looking forward to checking this out. These records, I've picked them up from JB Hi-Fi, which is a popular record store here in Australia. First record here is Faint No More, Sol Invictus, their most recent album. Joe Satriani's Is There Love in Space, a music on vinyl recent reissue. Silverchair's Young Modern in blue vinyl, their most recent album. Underrated album, really dig this album, highly recommend checking this out. Aerosmith's Permanent Vacation, this is in a red wine coloured vinyl reissue. Jimi Hendrix debut album as a band, Are You Experienced? Caligula's Horse, In Contact. This is a prog rock, prog metal band from Australia. This album is called In Contact. Highly recommend checking this out. Torch, Admission. And this set of records, I've actually picked them up from Heartland Records, which is a store here in Melbourne, in North Melbourne. Torch, Admission. This is in a baby blue coloured vinyl. Earthless from the West. This is their live album. The Best of Joe Walsh. The Beatles live at the Star Club in Hamburg, Germany, 1962. R.E.M's Murmur, I think this is their debut album. Ted Nugent's Free For All. Bryan Adams' Cuts Like a Knife. Eagles, Desperado. Rolling Stones' Emotional Rescue. Genesis, Trespass. This is not the first pressing, but a later issue, which is probably from the late 70s, early 80s. And Mark Almond's album Rising. Never heard of this band, but a friend of mine recommended to me, a mate of mine, Chris. So looking forward to checking this out. Now, as for these records, I've picked them up from a record store in Dandenong called Radical Records. This is a record I've been looking for quite a while. Midnight Oil's Place Without a Postcard. Sebastian Hardy, Windchase. This is an Australian band, prog rock, jazz fusion. And Lethal Weapon soundtrack, which was performed by Eric Clapton. Mickey Rourke's Homeboy soundtrack. This was also performed by Eric Clapton. And this is an EP by Eric Clapton, Edge of Darkness, which is with Michael Kamen. As for these records, I picked them up from a store also from Thornbury, which is called High on Vinyl. Really recommend this shop as well. So I've picked up Deaf for the Whole World to See. This is a band I've discovered from a recent documentary. Highly recommend checking it out. The documentary is called A Band Called Deaf, so I recommend checking this out. Glad to have this album in my collection. Deep Purple's self-titled album, and this was their third album with the Mark I lineup. This is a recent reissue. Sting's Bring On the Night. Jethro Tull's Thick as a Brick. Supertramp, Crisis, What Crisis. James Rain from Australian Crawl. This is his solo, I think it's his debut album. AC/DC's Fly on the Wall. Not bad condition, but does the job for now. Traffic's Shootout at the Fantasy Factory. Mark Elman's 2. The Who by Numbers. This is Traffic's album called Welcome to the Canteen. Jean-Michel Jarre's Magnetic Fields. And this is Jeff Beck's album. I thought I didn't have this, but it's actually Beckola, but it's called the most of Jeff Beck. So I've got another one in my collection. And then the last but not least is Supertramp, Even in the Quietest Moments. So that's pretty much it, what I've picked up the last few weeks. Thanks for watching.